Ever notice how some people just seem to have respect without even trying? They walk into a room, and suddenly the energy shifts. No one interrupts them when they talk. People respect their time, their space, and their words. And here's the part that might sting. It's not because they're smarter than you, richer than you, or more successful than you. It's because they know something you don't. One single mental shift that no one ever taught you. A simple psychological key that changes everything the moment you understand it. Think about the last time someone cut ahead of you in line and you stayed quiet. Or when a friend cancelled on you last minute, again, and you just brushed it off. Or when someone took credit for your work and you just let it go. You probably thought you were being patient, being nice, being the bigger person. But what you were really doing was teaching people how to treat you. You were showing them that they could get away with it. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. The people who never deal with this, the ones everyone respects, they're really not just lucky. They're not avoiding disrespect by chance. They're using an insight about human behavior that's been around for centuries. A truth that Machiavelli himself wrote about hundreds of years ago. A truth that divides those who are respected from those who spend their entire lives chasing approval. What if I told you that being liked might be the very thing making you weak? That every time you bend over backwards trying to keep everyone happy, you're actually losing power. That every time you go out of your way to please others, you're secretly teaching them to see you as less valuable. The more you chase approval, the less respect you actually get. It sounds harsh, but it's real psychology, and it works every time. By the time you're done with this, you'll see why some people naturally own every room they step into, while others fade into the background. You'll see why some people get taken seriously and others get ignored. And most importantly, you'll learn how to become the person who commands respect without ever having to beg for it. Are you ready to stop being everyone's second choice and start being their first? If you are, tell yourself this right now: respect over approval. Here's the first truth you need to face. The hidden weakness in trying to be liked. Every single person who's disrespected you, dismissed you, or made you feel invisible had one thing in common. They could tell that you cared more about their approval than they cared about yours. And here's the thing: no one ever truly respects someone who is desperate to be liked. Desperation is obvious. People can sense it without a word being said. The more you chase approval, the easier you are to predict. People start to know exactly how you'll react. They know you'll smile politely, even when they insult you. They know you'll go along with them even when they're wrong. They know you'll keep showing up even when they waste your time. And once they figure you out, you become replaceable. The more you try to make everyone like you, the less people actually like you. Think about the people you personally respect the most. Are they the ones constantly trying to win your approval? Or are they the ones who seem completely comfortable whether you like them or not? People are naturally drawn to those who don't need them. That's human psychology at its core. We value what is scarce and ignore what is too easy to get. When you chase approval, you're lowering your value in everyone's eyes. Machiavelli famously said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." And no, he wasn't talking about being cruel or violent. He was talking about respect. Fear, in this context, doesn't mean terror. It means consequences. When people know that there's a cost to crossing you, they treat you differently. Look at the people who have earned your respect. Maybe it's that teacher who didn't let anyone slack off. Maybe it's the boss who set a high standard and never let you off the hook. Maybe it's that friend who always tells you the truth, even when it hurts. What do they all have in common? They don't need you to like them in order to feel good about themselves. They have clear boundaries, and they protect them. Meanwhile, the people pleasers, the ones who are always trying to make everyone happy, are the ones who get ignored, disrespected, and forgotten. When you make yourself available to everyone all the time, you stop being special to anyone. The people who benefit from your need to be liked might thank you, they might smile at you, but deep down, they don't respect you for it. In fact, they see you as weak. They see you as the person who will always show up when they need something, no matter how little they give back. This is how millions of people lose their power every day. They think being agreeable will get them respect, but all it really gets them is a life where no one takes them seriously. Respect isn't handed out, it's something you have to claim. And you can't claim anything while you're on your knees begging for approval. Say this to yourself right now: I choose power. Now let's get into the second part, the dark power of respect. Once you realize that being liked has been sabotaging you all along, you can finally start focusing on what really matters. Respect, and not the fake kind of respect. That's just polite words. I'm talking about deep, instinctive respect. The kind of respect that makes people hesitate before they cross a line with you. This kind of respect comes down to one thing: consequences. If crossing you costs people nothing, they will do it over and over again. But if crossing you comes with a price, they quickly learn not to do it. Most people have this all wrong. They think respect is something you get by being impressive or talented. But that's not respect. That's admiration. Respect comes from refusing to tolerate disrespect. It comes from having boundaries that actually mean something. When someone disrespects you and you just let it slide, you've taught them that disrespect is free. You've told them that there's no cost to treating you badly. But when you make it clear that disrespect has a price, when you withdraw your time, your energy, or your attention, they learn quickly. That lesson sticks. This is why the nicest people often get treated the worst. They've taught everyone that bad behavior doesn't have consequences. They've made it safe to treat them badly. And once you become safe to disrespect, people stop respecting you altogether. But here's the good news. The second you flip the script, everything changes. The moment you make it clear that your time and energy are valuable, people start treating you differently. They think before they speak. They consider your feelings before they act. They recognize that you are not someone they can just use. Machiavelli also said that people will treat you exactly how you allow them to treat you. No better, no worse. The incredible thing about respect is that once you start demanding it, you get more of it. And the more you get, the easier it becomes to keep getting it. It creates an upward spiral where you naturally become someone that others take seriously. And here's the difference between demanding respect and demanding to be liked. When you demand to be liked, you put your power in other people's hands. They get to decide whether to give you what you want. But when you demand respect, you're taking control back. Respect isn't something you wait around for. It's something you claim by refusing to accept less. Think about the most respected people you know. Do they explain why they deserve respect? Do they lower their standards just to keep the peace? No. They simply draw a line and don't let anyone cross it. That line becomes their power. This is what separates people who have power from those who don't. The powerful understand that respect is non-negotiable. The powerless think respect is something you can win by giving more, sacrificing more, and being nicer. But you can't win respect by giving away your power. You win respect by holding on to it. Tell yourself right now, my worth isn't up for debate. Now let's talk about control. Because every single interaction you have is about it. Who's leading the conversation? Who decides the outcome? Who sets the terms of the relationship? If you don't know who's in control, it's probably not you. Approval seekers hand over control without realizing it. Every time you change what you think, say, or do, just to get someone to like you, you're giving them control. Every time you stay quiet to avoid making waves, you give them control over your voice. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you're giving them control over your life. People who don't need approval keep their control. They say what they think, even if people don't like it. They make choices based on what matters to them, not on what others expect. They set the terms of their relationships instead of just accepting whatever they're offered. This is why needing approval is so dangerous. It's not just about how you feel. It's about who gets to run your life. When your self-worth depends on what other people think, you've basically handed them the remote control to your emotions. When you desperately want someone to like you, you'll do almost anything to keep them happy. You'll change your opinions, pretend to agree with things you hate, and swallow your feelings. You'll compromise your values until you don't even recognize yourself. That's not a relationship. That's just control, dressed up as kindness. But when you no longer need their approval, when you can let them dislike you, if that's what it takes to stay true to yourself, now you have the power. They can't use your need against you anymore. This is what confident people know. They're not confident because nothing ever hurts them. They're confident because they refuse to let other people decide how they feel about themselves. They've made themselves immune to manipulation. Machiavelli said that everyone sees what you appear to be, but few truly know what you are. When you stop performing for other people's approval, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is powerful. The moment you break out of the approval trap, people stop being able to control you. They can't push your buttons because you've disconnected them. They can guilt trip you or shame you because you no longer care about being seen as perfect. Your decisions become clear and simple. Instead of asking what will make them happy, you start asking what's right for me. Instead of trying to please everyone, you focus on the one person whose opinion truly matters, yours. Your relationships start to change too. Some will fall away because they were only built on you being easy to control, and that's a good thing. The ones that remain will be built on real respect instead of you constantly bending over backwards to earn approval. This is a full psychological shift. You stop thinking I hope they like me and start thinking I don't care if they like me. You stop asking what do they think of me and start asking what do I think of me. You go from I need their approval to they need to earn my respect. Say this to yourself right now. I control my worth. Finally, let's talk about approval addiction. Because your need for approval isn't just some random personality quirk, it's addictive. And people who understand this can use it against you. Here's how it works. Someone gives you a compliment, likes your post, or praises you. Your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that's triggered by addictive substances. It feels amazing. And just like any other high, you start craving more. The people around you notice this pattern quickly. They learn that a little bit of praise can get you to do almost anything. Need you to stay late at work. They just say you're such a hard worker. Need you to lend them money. They tell you how generous you are. Need you to ignore their bad behavior. They tell you how kind and understanding you are. And because you crave that validation, you fall for it. Again and again. This is how approval addiction gives everyone else the upper hand. They don't even have to threaten you. They just have to give you a small dose of validation, and you'll bend over backwards to keep getting more. But here's the good news. When you stop needing approval, you become impossible to manipulate this way. You can't control someone with flattery if they don't need flattery. You can't guilt someone who doesn't care about pleasing everyone. And you can use someone else's emotions against them if their emotions aren't based on what you think of them. The harsh truth about validation is that it's the cheapest thing in the world to hand out, but the most expensive thing to depend on. Anyone can say, "You're amazing." It costs them nothing. But the more you rely on it to feel good about yourself, the more trapped you become. Your happiness ends up controlled by others. Machiavelli warned that those who focus on what they should be, instead of who they really are, destroy themselves faster than anyone else could. When you chase the version of yourself that other people approve of, you lose your true self. You see this everywhere. People who are hooked on approval become chameleons. They shift their personality depending on who's around. They hold one opinion in one group, a completely different one in another. They hide parts of themselves that might get judged. In the end, they just wearing masks, one for each situation, and no one ever gets to meet the real person underneath. In contrast, those who don't need constant approval stay the same no matter who's in the room. They speak their real thoughts, even if they're unpopular. They don't hide their personality just to avoid criticism. And ironically, it's this consistency and honesty that earns them more respect, and even more genuine affection, than people pleasers could ever dream of. But breaking that need for validation isn't simple. Your brain will try to drag you back every chance it gets. It will whisper that without approval, you'll end up alone. It will make you feel guilty for not caring what others think. It will try to tempt you to go back to the familiar, comfortable pattern of trying to win people over. That's why discipline is crucial. You must consciously choose not to seek validation, even when every part of you wants to. You have to become okay with being disliked, misunderstood, even criticized. Your own opinion has to weigh more than everyone else's combined. Say it to yourself right now. My validation comes from within. Now, let's get practical. Here are the rules, the ones that turn you from someone who is easy to ignore into someone who silently commands respect. These aren't theories. They work every single time. Rule 1. Speak less, act more. Most people never stop talking. They explain, justify, and overshare everything. They make excuses, and in doing so, they show desperation for others to understand and agree with them. People who command respect don't waste words. They only speak when there's something worth saying, and they let their actions prove their point. They don't explain themselves to those who don't deserve explanations, and they don't try to justify choices to people who wouldn't make better ones themselves. When someone disrespects you, don't give them a lecture about respect. Just walk away. If someone crosses a line, don't explain why the line matters. Just enforce the consequence. If someone questions your decision, don't defend yourself. Just stick to it. Machiavelli said a fox recognizes traps and a lion scares wolves. Be the fox when you need to be clever, and the lion when you need to show strength. Rule 2. Never chase approval. It's simple, but hard. No matter how much you want someone to like you, never beg for their attention. Don't double text when they don't reply. Don't keep explaining yourself if they act cold or distant. Don't work overtime to get back into their good graces. Chasing approval is just a signal of desperation, and desperation kills respect. Instead, stay neutral about how they feel. If they like you, good. If not, that's their loss. Indifference is magnetic. It makes people curious about why you don't need them to validate you, and that curiosity turns into respect. Rule 3. Stay calm under attack. When someone tries to provoke you, insult you, or push your buttons, your reaction is everything. If you blow up, get defensive, or let them see they've upset you, they win. They've proven they can control your emotions. But if you stay cool, collected, even slightly amused, you show them and everyone watching that you can't be rattled. That's power. It makes you psychologically untouchable, which scares off manipulators who rely on emotional reactions to control others. Rule 4. Stay unpredictable. Predictable people are the easiest to manipulate. If others know exactly what you'll do in every situation, they can plan around you and use it to their advantage. Keep people guessing. Sometimes be generous, sometimes strict, sometimes social, sometimes distant. Sometimes help others, sometimes prioritize yourself. This mix keeps people off balance and forces them to respect your independence. Machiavelli said it's safer to be feared than loved if you have to pick one. But you, Dan T, have to pick one if you know how to switch between the two strategically. Rule 5. Enforce boundaries quickly and quietly. When someone crosses a line, act fast. Your reaction time matters more than how harsh the reaction is. A quick, calm consequence teaches the lesson better than a delayed, dramatic one. And silence is powerful. Don't issue endless warnings. Don't give the same person second and third chances. Don't explain why what they did was wrong. Just act and move forward. That silence sends a message louder than words. Your boundaries are real, not suggestions. Say it with me. I am unmovable. Rule 6. Use scarcity and distance to your advantage. Most people think being available 24/7 makes them loved. They think saying yes to everything makes them valuable. They think giving unlimited access to their time and attention makes them special. But the truth is the opposite. Scarcity creates value. Always has. Always will. When something is rare, people value it more. When something is everywhere, people ignore it. That includes you. If you're always available, you become background noise. If you always forgive, people stop respecting your limits. But when your presence, time, and forgiveness become rare, people suddenly treat them as the treasures they really are. Think about the people with the most social power. They aren't the ones who attend every event or agree with every opinion. They show up when they choose, leave when they're ready, and say no without feeling guilty. That makes their presence more valuable. Strategic distance isn't about being cold. It's about being selective about where you spend your energy. When you stop giving it to everyone freely, it becomes priceless. The less available you are, the more people want your time. The more they want it, the better they treat you. The better they treat you, the more selective you can afford to be. It's a feedback loop that keeps increasing your respect and influence. Some people won't like this version of you. Good, let them go. The ones who only kept you around because you were easy to reach will disappear, and that's a win. The ones who stay, the ones who respect your space and still choose to be there, are the ones worth keeping. Distance also gives you mental clarity. When you're not busy trying to manage everyone else's emotions, you can finally think clearly about what you want. You can focus on your own goals instead of reacting to other people's demands. The most powerful people often look slightly detached, not because they don't care, but because they refuse to care too much. And here's what happens when you really start living this way. When you stop begging for approval and start living for respect, your entire life shifts. Your relationships get better, not all of them, but the ones that matter. People who only stayed because they could control you will leave, but those who remain will connect with the real you, not the fake version you created to please them. Your confidence skyrockets because you stop relying on others to decide your worth. You stop overthinking every decision because it no longer matters if everyone agrees. Opportunities will start finding you instead of you chasing them. People will come to you for honest opinions because they know you want tea. Just tell them what they want to hear. You'll get better offers, better treatment, and better relationships simply because you no longer settle for scraps of validation. Your stress will drop because you're no longer wasting energy managing everyone else's reactions. Life feels lighter, and most importantly, you become mentally free. Free from the endless cycle of people-pleasing. Free from being different versions of yourself just to fit in. Free to be fully authentic without apologizing for it. Machiavelli once said, "It's not titles that bring honor to a person. It's the person who brings honor to the title." Your value doesn't come from what people think of you. It comes from how you carry yourself. This transformation takes time, and it's not always comfortable. You'll want to fall back into old habits when it gets tough. You'll doubt yourself when others react to your new boundaries. You'll wonder if you're being too harsh. But keep going, because on the other side is a version of yourself you've either never met before, one who is respected without demanding it, who attracts the right people naturally, and who holds real power without abusing it. Most people will never get here. They'd rather stay comfortable and powerless than face the truth about how they give away their power every day. But if you're still here listening, you're ready. You're ready to stop being the one who begs for approval. You're ready to stop being the one who gets walked over. You're ready to step into respect. Remember, this is not about being cruel. It's about being strong. It's about owning your worth and refusing anything less than respect. The rules we just went through, speaking less, acting more, never chasing, staying calm, staying unpredictable, enforcing boundaries, and using scarcity strategically, aren't just tricks. They're a way of living. They're how you carry yourself through the world in a way that commands respect naturally. Machiavelli said the wise act immediately, while fools wait until the damage is done. Don't wait. Start now. The next conversation you have is your chance to practice. The next boundary someone tests is your chance to hold the line. The next time you feel the urge to chase approval, pause and choose respect instead. Say this out loud. Respect is my birthright. Because in a world full of people desperate to be liked, the person who doesn't need approval is the one who holds all the power. Be that person.